you ever wondered how to navigate as women professors in academia?
Everybody has a unique journey, a unique story with defining moments, struggles, and joys along their journeys.
We are here to celebrate each journey where we can share our stories, insights, and inspirations. I am Thasarat
And I am Cat. This is WPO,
Women Professors of Ophthalmology,
Journey into Academia. Hi, I'm Kat.
Hi, I'm Thasarat. Today, Kat and I are very excited to introduce you to our first two professors who will be sharing with us their journeys into academia.
These two professors have quite a similar career path. They're both distinguished clinician educators, dedicating over decades in their academic careers to medical education, teaching, and mentoring medical students, residents, and fellows.
Please welcome our co-founders of WPO, Dr. Ruxana Mirza, Ryan Presbyteri, Professor of Ophthalmology and Medical Education from Northwestern University.
And Dr. Mirza and Syed, Professor of Ophthalmology, David Weeks, Chair in Ophthalmology at University of Texas Medical Branch. Welcome to you both. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for joining us, Mirza and Ruxana. How did you two meet and create the concept of this unique group of women?
So Ruxana and I met years ago at the usual ophthalmology educator meetings that we have annually. And we also got the chance to get involved together on committees, particularly through AUPO. The SF Match Oversight Committee is, I think, where we started to get to know each other better. And essentially what happened was that we both independently were working on this academic track towards being promoted to full professor, but we hadn't really talked about it with each other. And I came across a social media post one day that Ruxana had been promoted to full professor, and I had had the same thing happen, a few months prior in very close proximity. So I reached out to her and I just, wanted to congratulate her. And then we started talking about how we got there. And what we both found is that we had each kind of struggled to find a path to promotion in academia. In both of our experiences, there wasn't a lot there in terms of a structured mentoring network, something that could really help us move forward. So we kind of shared that we had that issue, and we felt like maybe this was a moment where we needed to think about creating a formal organization to help other women who are on the academic track in ophthalmology to get promoted, to move to the next step in their careers, and really give an intentional framework for helping them.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we both really emphasized that we had exceptional mentors, and we had been so fortunate to have the career trajectory that we did, and we wanted to really explore what we could do to create a structure outside of just serendipity.
Well, I have to say congratulations to both of you to think about this, and then it's really kind of gained a lot of momentum in the past couple years during COVID. So congratulations, and it's amazing. And really, this is our first podcast, and we wanted to feature you two. So thank you.
Yeah.
So next question: what was your defining moment that led you into academia?
I don't know if there was one defining moment, but I'm a second generation ophthalmologist, and I trained in Chicago. I really sought fellowship training because I wanted to have a niche and have a subspecialty in a large urban area. At the time, I'm a medical retina specialist. At the time, medical retina was just exploding. There was new imaging, OCT was being utilized more and more, and anti-VEGF was just coming out as I was finishing my residency. So just that opportunity and that timing, I thought this was just an ideal specialty to pursue, and it was truly that moment that I pursued that. And I don't think I had these large ideas before that I was going to be in academics, but it was I always say that every success that I've had has really been thanks to the people who are around me, and my fellowship mentors and my residency mentors really provided opportunities for me to write papers and to teach, and I I think that just taking hold of those opportunities is what led me into academics. How about you, Michelle?
So yeah, I think also for me, I don't know that I was one of those people that was like, I'm going to do ophthalmology. And I think the question was how we got into ophthalmology or specifically academic ophthalmology.
Academic ophthalmology.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I come from a family of medical teachers, actually. Both my parents were academic physicians and actually at the same institution where I am now, UTMB. So I think it was kind of subconsciously inculcated into my siblings and my mindset that academic medicine was really cool. You know, we got to see what they were doing growing up, teaching and doing research and those things that really, I could see that they loved their job. Like I never once really heard complaints about them, about their careers. And my mom would do grants and all this stuff. And we knew, like in the house, it was crazy time when mom was trying to get a grant done. And, you know, those things, they just kind of built into my mindset. And when I decided to go into medicine and then ophthalmology, I think it was just a natural fit for me to continue that culture of, you know, teaching and teaching the next generation of physicians. So I don't think that I ever really even considered private practice, to be honest, as soon as I finished my fellowship. And I was fortunate enough that UTMB needed a glaucoma specialist when I got done with my fellowship, and it worked out. It was serendipitous, to use Roxana's earlier word. And I think it's just one of those things that was meant to be. For me, I've never left that position. I joined it straight out of fellowship, and here I am 16 years later in the same department.
Yeah. So it's interesting. Both of you are kind of saying, and I think this can be very true, that there doesn't need to be a single aha moment necessarily. I mean, you both were pursuing something you loved, you were motivated, and you just kind of keep working at it. And you just, I mean, I think that's probably a very important point, is you're just following what you are very passionate about.
Yeah, certainly true. And most of us will have, you know, someone in our career, in our lives, like our role models. And you guys both actually stay in the same place. This is your first job, rising from assistant, associate, and then now full professors. So for both of you, what excites you now in your career at the moment?
I feel like for me in academics, there's never a dull moment. I think that's probably why maybe Roxana and I both, she'll speak for herself, but why I've stayed in this position. And it sounds kind of strange. I think statistically, most people shift around several times in their jobs during their career. But there's always something new on the horizon, I think, to help us kind of push ourselves forward in our own careers, and then collectively helping our department, our trainees, our institution go forward. It's exciting for me right now because I've been a program director for about a decade, and it's been wonderful. It's been a huge, unexpected kind of source of growth for me in my career and really as a person. I mean, learning how to help residents learn our craft and be ready to leave at the end of 3 years. It's always kind of an amazing phenomenon to me. But I'm kind of foraying into medical student education now. So that's exciting. I'm taking on an assistant dean position in a few months at the same institution at UTMB. So it's going to be a whole new shift. And I'm just so excited that I feel very fortunate that I'm able to still continue practicing ophthalmology, but then also get to kind of shift my educational focus to this new area.
Well, congratulations, Michelle.
Yeah, congratulations. Exciting.
I would echo Michelle's sentiments. What excites me the most are relationships with my colleagues, with my patients, with my trainees, and just discovering or creating new ways of doing things, new knowledge. That's really motivating. And I would say in academics, every day is different. So no 2 days are exactly the same. So that also keeps things very, very exciting.
Yeah, like you say, no dull moments, right? We have trainees come through, medical students, resident fellows. So Kat, now it's time for our 2020 Hindsight Pearls tips.
All right. So for our first pearl to you guys, could you please share with us your top pearls for finding mentors early in your career?
Well, I would say there's something to be learned from every single person that you meet. And I think that I I really benefited from that idea. There's something to be learned from every attending and from every staff member, from your peers. Sometimes those things that you learn are things you don't want to do, and I'd say that just really taking hold of the opportunity of learning from different types of people. Some people may be a role model and you want to, kind of develop your career that way. Some people may connect you to others, but it takes effort to keep those relationships, but it's very worthwhile, I would say. That's what I would say.
I kind of want to piggyback on what Roxana is saying, because I think it's so important to reach out to kind of to everyone you come across in your path as an academic ophthalmologist. It may seem uncomfortable. For me, particularly, I'm more on the introvert side, and it's often kind of weird for me to kind of go forward and talk to people that I've never met before, for example, in like meetings. But I want to share like one of the most important relationships that I have now is I have a wonderful mentor with Dr. Susan Culligan. And I remember this because we didn't know each other, but she had presented something at AUPO. And it was about the surgical curriculum online evaluations for residents. And this was a few years back. And I'm just in the audience, as a PD. And it just really struck me. I was like, wow, that's really cool. I want to get involved with that. And when she finished speaking and she sat down, I was just happened to be like a row behind her. And I just thought, oh my gosh, I really want to talk to her. I would really want to ask her. And it was I had to really go out of my comfort zone. So my advice would be just get out of your comfort zone. I tapped her on the shoulder. We started chatting. And, here 5 years later, she's one of my biggest mentors. She's a huge supporter of my growth. She's helped me do a lot of things in my career that I think I wouldn't have had the opportunity to do otherwise. And it just took that first conversation. So just make sure that that you are making that effort. If you have that feeling in your mind, like I need to talk to that person, to ask them a question, to get help, just do it.
I also would add to that is that you don't have to get all of your mentoring from one person. Not everyone can be everything to you, and that's actually beneficial. So you diversify your network, talk to different people. You never know where that may lead you.
Those are all good points. And also you have different mentoring needs throughout your career too, right? I mean, as you're kind of mentioning, as you develop different interests and things you're liking, you're going to have a different network, and that's totally okay. So it's really not a static individual or, kind of one thing. So those are really great points. So while we could kind of go on and on forever with you two, is there anything you would love to just kind of give us as a advice or anything at the end of this? That's hard. That's a tough question. It's like an interview question. Hey, this is an interview.
That's true. It is. I'd like to just share, I think it builds on what I was just saying, kind of don't be afraid to put yourself out there. I think a lot of us feel like we have to have that as physicians and just in general. And I think a lot of times as women in medicine, we have to have that superhero facade, and that armor, and like, we're fine, we can do everything, we're not struggling. But the fact is that we're all often struggling with the same things. And if you shed that armor and you're vulnerable enough to kind of to share this with your professional colleagues, share your challenges, you'd be surprised what you hear back. I've always been kind of shocked when I do that people come back and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm struggling with the same thing. And these people that you think would never have those problems. So building each other up by sharing the difficulties and helping each other work through it, I think is a huge help throughout your career.
Great advice. I would say there's no one right way of doing things. There are multiple forms of success, and success really is what it is to you. I think one of the greatest parts that I've learned from WPO so far is that there's so many different paths. And you don't have to fit into one mold to be successful. We follow the things that really interest you. Some of those things happen from saying yes and to new opportunities. And some of those opportunities happen when you have the space and you say no to certain things. So that's what I would say is that if you follow the things that you love, it makes the journey really, really special.
Yeah. So thank you for such great advice for the both of you, and also creating these WPO for mentorship. So this is, you make it easier for others. So thank you.
Thank you again. And that was our podcast number 1 for women professors in ophthalmology. Please join us next time.
See
Thank
you
you.
next time. Thanks.
Thanks. Bye.